Well, I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy. You finally got it. You finally did away with the bug eyes on the Street Triple. You did it. Good job. You won. We now get the Slop from Triumph. And yes, that sounds a little mean, but I say it from the deepest depths of my heart. I'm a Triumph apologist, a fanboy. I've been a Daytona devotee for over a decade at this point. I love the brand, and I kind of hate to see what's happening. I have been inundated with comments about the Trident 800. Everyone is obsessed about this bike. They're so excited. They act like it's this most amazing middleweight naked to have ever come on the market. And truthfully, I don't get the hype. I think that if you were that obsessed about getting a single round headlight on a Street Triple, you happen to be a tasteless nerd and you should have just bought any other motorcycle, because the whole fucking point of the Street Triple is to have the bug eyes because it's classic and iconic. But let me explain to you why this Trident 800 is not all it's cracked up to be. And now the video just got ratioed. But stick around with me, will ya? So Triumph's been on a tear. They've been launching new models, entering new segments, and basically crushing it since about 2018 or 2019. It all kicked off with the Trident 660 that was a very potent competitor to the MT-07. Then they launched the Street and Speed and Scrambler 400 series. Those models just totally crushed it. Triumph developed that 660 into the Tiger 660. They advanced their adventure bike range, but all the while, Triumph's core sport bike roots were slowly being eroded. The Daytona was whisked away in 2017, never to be seen again unless you got a carbon fiber Moto 2 edition Daytona, which was really just a Street Triple and a nice little frock. Then they bumped up the power a little bit for this Street Triple 765 RS. The Speed Triple got a little bit of update as well, but Triumph slowly stopped caring that much about racing except for supplying the engines for Moto 2. The Supersport category morphed and changed, Triumph saw the writing on the wall, and then the Daytona 660 was released. I really want you to take a look at this, and we actually have this in the documentation, the pre-production for this video. Look at this image of the Daytona 675R's cockpit. It's beautiful. It's adorned with carbon fiber. It elicits a nice upmarket luxury motorcycle. The thing is sweet. Beautiful sweeping analog dash. It's just a beautiful thing. Now, look at the Daytona 660's dash and look at the cockpit of this bike and tell me that doesn't look like a cheap Chinese facsimile of what once was a great motorcycle. I may finally start to understand the ire of Yamaha R6 evangelists because I'm starting to get radicalized, and the Trident 800 is doing that to me. This model effectively replaces the 765R, which, yeah, granted, in the grand scheme of things, was not a very well thought out motorcycle. It had the chintzy cheap dash from all the other 660 models, but it did have the super sport frame from the 765. It was down on power, it had basic specs. Basically, if you wanted to get a Street Triple, you just got the RS. Nothing else really made sense. So I guess Triumph saw that they were not really selling much 765Rs, and they were like, you know what we can do? We can repackage and repurpose some of this stuff and give the people the naked bike that they want. And that's what you got. Tubular steel frame, a 798cc triple that lacks all the character and charm of the old Street Triple, and yes, your single round headlight. You finally got it. But the thing is, this is a cross-platformed motorcycle. You know, it started in the Tiger Sport 800, which I really enjoyed. I think in that configuration, it makes a ton of sense. It's a comfortable, usable, well-executed sport touring motorcycle. But I start to take issue once we enter the naked middleweight bikes that are meant to have that sporty nature and character. We're starting to enter a weird uncanny valley where Triumph's 3 cylinders are starting to mimic the Yamaha MT-09 because that started to mimic the Street Triples. We're just getting to like this mass market 3-cylinder that doesn't have the character and charm that something like this used to have. And I know I sound like such a purist, such an apologist, such a old unk, for lack of a better term, who just pines for the old days. But listen to this. It's got the gears, it's got the whine, it's got something special about it. And God forbid God forbid Triumph is going to take this Trident 800 platform and metamorphosize it into a Daytona 800. Triumph, and if anybody from Triumph is watching this, please, for the love of God, this probably won't get any airtime at the facilities, okay? But listen to me. Start with the Street Triple and turn that into the big Daytona 900 we all want. Please, do not give me a Daytona 800 with the 798cc virtually unchanged, with a tubular steel frame virtually unchanged, revised geometry a little bit. Oh, it handles so much better. We gave you better brakes. Come on, dude, come on. If someone were to tell me design a perfect street motorcycle, well, it may end up looking something like this Honda Hornet CB750. I don't mean to glaze this bike too much, but it really is that good. Take everything you like from an MT-07 or other street-going motorcycles, blend them all together, and give a fun package, all with the Honda refinement and reliability you've come to expect. Best part about this bike, it's a giveaway motorcycle on yammynoob.co. Hit the link down below and become a member today for your best chance to win. This giveaway is going to wrap up before the end of the year, so your time is running out. Hit that link below and get started today. And so yeah, this bike is under $10,000. It is the safe, good enough option in the new middleweight category. You know, we've kind of had our day in the sun of weird insectoid looking motorcycles, your KTMs, your Yamahas. These bikes all look weird. The Sagomi styling of the Z900s. I think the market was actually yearning for something just more normal looking, for lack of a better term. But you know what? Motorcyclists aren't normal people, and riding a middleweight naked bike doesn't make you a normal person. Why does it all have to be so elegant, so refined, so beautiful? I think these things should have character. And you know what has character? Bug eyes! But at the end of the day, this bike's probably gonna sell like hotcakes. It's priced well, it makes a cool sound, it's got the right look for a lot of people. It's just really not my cup of tea. And I think a lot of people would get really surprised by that because I am kind of a Triumph evangelist. But to me, the brand is kind of changing into something that I don't really think is all that cool. We're losing original character and charm from some of these old engines. We're getting cross-platform slop. We're just getting cheaper and cheaper stuff. I mean, seriously, go and touch the new Triumph products. Really touch them in person. Touch the Daytona 660 and the Trident. And then touch some of the older stuff they used to make. Even the Tigers, the 800s, the XCs, you know, some of that older stuff. And I'm gonna harp on it, the twin analog clocks, the Thruxtons. The Thruxton felt really special. This new Triumph stuff feels just mass market to me. And the problem is, the limited edition and cool stuff that they're supposedly making is just like paint schemes on Rocket 3s or Bonnevilles. It's not actually interesting or cutting edge. Because that's the thing, nowadays in the middleweight market, you don't really get special motorcycles unless you go and drop $30,000 on a brand new Ducati, which prices for those keep going up every year. 30 grand's the entry price at MSRP. You're looking at closer to 40 grand to get something properly special from Ducati. To get their desmodromic valves, you can't even get those unless you drop 40 G's nowadays. You know, motorcycling to me reflects the broader economy and world events. I had wished I'd been born about 40 years earlier and died 10 years ago, because then everything would have been perfect for me. So I think if you want the single round headlight, you want Triumph character and charm, I think the Speed Twin was always there for you. I don't think we needed to create a Trident 800 that is just this watered down, processed substitute of what we used to get. And it's also circular too. I mean, the original Street Triple made about the same power figures. It actually was super sport derived, but now you get something that's just like that's good enough. The masses will eat that up. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be just fine, all good. But we notice, we enthusiasts, we who have been there for the brands and been riding for a long time, we're noticing how things are changing and morphing and not exactly fulfilling that old promise of how motorcycling is supposed to feel special. So yeah, it undercuts the MT-09, the KTM, all these bikes in the category, and yeah, it makes enough power, and yeah, it makes the right sound because it's a 3-cylinder, and a lot of people don't want a big parallel twin or whatever. But I am a little concerned about the direction Triumph is going. I think it would be much more interesting to create some more passion-based projects, to create some real interesting bikes that are driven by enthusiasts and driven to complete a mission or a goal. You know, make something that you're gonna say, hey, we're gonna go try and win in World Supersport Racing, or hey, we're gonna make a super bike because we think we can do it. And I understand Triumph is doing that right now in the dirt world, but that's not really my lane, so I don't wanna comment on that. I'm just lamenting the fact that in the road-oriented world, it just looks like Triumph is trying to become every other mainstream manufacturer and make as many bikes as possible. Trident 800, I believe, is emblematic of Triumph's whole situation. What do you guys think? I'm sure you love this bike. I'm sure you're excited by it. And I'm sure you think that the red is just bloody brilliant and you can't wait to go buy it and simp all over it and blah, blah, blah. But us old heads, we remember. We remember how it used to be better back then. And you could say every generation used to say that, Yam. But it actually was. It was better. With that, boys, that's going to wrap up today's video. I appreciate you checking it out. We will catch you in the next one. See you later.